Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. Denzel Rodriguez here, your personal finance geek of the 21st century. Hello to all my loyal subscribers, clients, kingdom citizens. I also want to welcome all the new people. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Tonight's session, I have my friend Alex Albaran with me this evening, and we're going to be discussing paid advertising in the 21st century. How do I get started? What tools do I need? What are the need to knows? What are the do's and don'ts? So we're really just going to break things down nice, effective, efficiently. I also want to apologize for the small delay for all the people that are watching live. We got about 17, 20, 25 people in the house. So thank you for being patient. I really appreciate you. I'll be shouting you out later. So we're going to do some Q&A with Alex first, and then we'll do some Q&A. I'll look at the chat room and see what's going on, see how we can help you guys move forward in your personal finances, in your business, ultimately achieving financial freedom and building that big, beautiful kingdom, right? So without any further delay, let me go ahead and bring on Alex. How you doing, my friend? How's
Doing
everything going?
well. Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. Happy to have you here. Um, this is our third, fourth collab together now, right? We're about
I
two,
think
two and a half,
I
almost 3 years
maybe three and a
in.
half. Yeah,
Three and a
well,
half,
3 years in, maybe three and a half collaborations.
three and a half.
Um, yeah, the
Perfect.
first one was live. I think we did one or two more over Zoom or Skype, and then
Right.
yeah, I think this is the fourth one, maybe.
Yeah, we did a pre-recorded, right? I believe we did
Mm.
like a
Yes,
pre-recorded thing. Then we did a couple, I think, two lives, and so now it is 2020. We're getting ready to close out the year. Um, what I'd like to do for those that are new to my channel and people that may have never seen you before, because you're not, all over my channel,
mm.
right? We only have a couple of collaborations together.
Mm.
Give us an overview. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, how we met, how we started working together, and kind of just speed up to today, 2020,
Mhm.
December, right before Christmas, what you're working on, what your main focus is, and how do you help people?
Absolutely. So my name is Alex Albran. I'd say if I have to put a label on what I do, I'm a digital marketing consultant, and it's fairly broad in terms of what that means, but it could apply to helping businesses set up websites, helping people like Denzel set up YouTube channels, helping other clients run paid advertising campaigns, which is what we'll discuss tonight. I got my start in the industry about 3 to 3.5 years ago because my first business was actually a healthy meal prep and catering business. I launched it the day I graduated from high school out of my parents' kitchen and, making 25 meals a week, then 100, then 200. And so I had to learn digital marketing to grow that business myself. And then I organically started to pick up clients because they saw the growth of that business, and then I started to see the profit, and I'm like, on the food side, I maybe make 10 or 15% profit on all my sales. But with this marketing company, I could bring in 70, 75% profit margin, and I could work from Starbucks. And so that's why I transitioned into the digital marketing consulting business full time. And around that time, I met Denzel actually. We met through a mutual connection, and I don't say mutual friend because I didn't know this guy. I actually met him in Starbucks randomly, and he overheard me talking about marketing and business, and we just got to chatting, and he's like, I have a guy for you. His name is Denzel. He's a young guy like you. He's ambitious. He just needs help getting off the ground with his business. And so I gave Denzel a call. The call almost went to voicemail. So who knows? None of this might have happened if that call would have went to voicemail. I would have hung up maybe like a second or two earlier. But he answered the phone. We set up a meeting, and then he basically just laid out his passion, which is helping people pay off debt, velocity banking, lines of credit, etc. And even me, I'm a pretty financially literate individual, but he was next level in terms of not only his knowledge but also his passion for helping people with this sort of thing, which is what he's doing now with his channel. And so I just saw his passion, I saw his knowledge, and he was going to do a really positive thing, but he just needed help across the board, right? Not just digital marketing. I helped him set up his offers, what to charge, how to set up his services, landing pages, websites. Really, how do you market your business and how do you generate sales? Because without that, Denzel, me, or any other business owner, we wouldn't have a business. Because with that, it's really the driver. How do you get in front of prospects, right? Prospective clients? How do you educate them? How do you add value? How do you establish the trust and credibility where then they transition from somebody who's slightly interested into an actual prospect who now is interested in purchasing a product or service from you? And so I helped Denzel set up that entire system, and he's been one of my best case studies by far. At this point, I have numerous other case studies that I'll show you more about tonight. But yeah, that's how we got here. And so Denzel and I, we've been kind of growing at a similar rate. I think he's surpassed me now. But it's cool because we're both younger people, entrepreneurs. We kind of started in the same range. Like even when I had the digital marketing company and I launched it full time, it wasn't necessarily doing extremely well from the jump. Definitely took a lot of time to get to where I'm at now. So I'm glad that Denzel and I connected both when we were first in the startup phase of our businesses, because now we're there each step of the way, right? It's not like I helped Denzel when he was already making a lot of money and I helped him make a little bit more, and then vice versa. For him, he's one of my best case studies because he was making $0 in revenue with his business when he first started working with me. And now, Denzel, I think you're at, in terms of from when we started until now, I think you're probably at like 800,000 in terms of total revenue collected.
I would concur with that.
Roughly, let's make it a rough estimate. And
Yeah,
so
yeah. I
and
haven't.
so
The month's not over yet, so the
exactly. So
sales
we
are
got
still
time to
coming
go.
in.
Yeah, got time to go there. And so, no, I think that's just like I said. For me, it was a really mutually beneficial relationship where I helped him, build his business, but at the same time, he's been a fantastic case study because people see that and they have an idea, they have a business concept, and they feel like, wow, okay, I don't need to work with Alex only if I have an established business. I can work with Alex if I just have an idea or a concept. And so, yeah, that's basically how we met and where we are today.
Nice. And so, what's your primary focus as we close out the year for 2020? And how are things looking like for you going into 2021 and with your clients as well? Like, kind of just client type of person you like to work with.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't catch the last maybe 7 seconds of what you said. Your microphone cut out. Could you use that, please?
Yeah, so I think yeah, something just
Now I
happened to
can
my
hear you.
computer there.
Yes. Hmm.
I don't know what's going on. I bought what's this? This is like a $300 microphone, and I'm trying to test it out. But I should have just stayed
Yeah.
with my regular wireless Rode. I really should have. Don't
If it
buy
ain't broke,
Rode,
don't fix it, as the
right?
saying goes.
I know, I know.
Yep.
I was trying to up my game. I'm looking at the Valuetainment. I'm looking at School of Greatness. I'm looking at all these other guys with their freaking, you know what I mean, arm mics, and I'm like, let me get in. Let me get in on
Yeah.
this. But it ain't working. So, but no, what I was getting at was, as we close out 2020 and go into 2021, who are you like mainly serving in today's environment? What's your favorite type of client you like to work with around this, marketing consultant like yourself?
Hmm. So I wouldn't say I have necessarily a favorite client in terms of, oh, I love working with financial advisors or I love working with people starting e-commerce stores. I just love working with people who have a positive attitude, number one. Number two, they're patient, right? Especially people just starting a brand new business. It's not all the time, but some of the times they want to go from zero per month to 25,000 in 4 or 6 weeks. And that's where I just like to work with clients that have good, solid, realistic expectations, a positive attitude, and they're willing to put in the work. For example, like I have some clients who they're not necessarily the most talented in terms of their entrepreneurial ability. I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but I'm saying that because they have so much effort, they have such great work ethic, where once they start getting some leads with the marketing that we do, I mean, they're really focused. I mean, they call, they text, they email, they follow up with the person on Facebook, on Instagram, and those are the people that get the best results. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it's one type of business. I mean, generally, I like working with people that sell services online. So it could be coaching services, marketing, consulting, courses, digital products. It could even be other more traditional services. Like I mentioned, insurance, financial advisors. I have a great
Right.
client right now named Thomas. He's a financial advisor. He just generated a $100,000 client within 2 weeks of launching his Facebook advertising campaign.
Nice.
And that's a very recent case study as well. And so, no, things are looking really great heading into 2021, really with my clients, because when they're successful, I'm successful, right? When they get great results, they refer more business. And so it's definitely a win win in that sense. But I know things are definitely trending in the right direction for not only my clients and my system and the strategies that I help them with, but also just my business and yours as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't say one client niche in particular, really just more so their attitude and the fact that they're willing to put in the work to get the results.
Got it. Got it.
Hmm.
So I want to get into the meat and potatoes now. And we can do this however you like, whether you want
Hmm.
to bring up some case studies or if you want to use me. I'm pretty sure you have my login. You could probably pull me up. If not, I could share my screen. Um, but I want to learn about paid advertising generally. Like, I'm speaking from the audience that are here today that joined in. Obviously, they want the title caught their eye and they want to tune into this. Maybe they're not ready, but they want to get started. I want to stay in the ground level fundamentals because this isn't something that I talk about all the time, so I don't want to go too advanced.
Hmm.
So if I'm someone that wants to learn about paid advertising, what does one need to learn and have in place to begin? And I'll start taking some notes. I encourage
Hmm.
everyone to take notes as well. And then, like I said, if you want to share some case studies, some examples of
Absolutely.
exact tools, you could share your screen, and we
Hmm.
can have some fun with this. And while you talk, I'm gonna mute myself, change this mic because some people are saying it's like I'm coming in really low.
Oh, really?
So I'm just
Huh.
gonna go ahead and change
Interesting.
it and throw this
Gotcha.
microphone in the garbage now.
Go back to the old school
I know,
road mic. That's so
crazy man.
funny. And yeah, in terms of what you mentioned, like how I want to approach it is not just assuming, right? I think a lot of digital marketing content out there, and even just business, growth advice out there, the people they assume everybody in the audience knows some pretty advanced strategies. And that's where they lose a lot of people, where it doesn't have to be that complex. I think sometimes people in this industry, they just try to sound super smart by overcomplicating things. And that's why, in terms of the approach I have for tonight, I just want to keep things simple, but not in a bad way. Simple in the sense that that's really what this is in terms of online advertising marketing. It's a simple system, it's a simple game. And I'll share my screen. I have a few case studies pulled up that I'll show you and help you understand really what advertising can generate, but also where to start from and what you need before you even look at paid advertising. Because I have a few clients who they saw some of my case studies on my testimonials page, and they're like, "Wow, this person turned $100 into a $3,000 client. This person turned $1,400 into $20,000 in revenue." Or the financial advisor. He just got $100,000 client, and he only spent, I believe, so far about let's say even $400 on the high end. So people see that and they say, okay, I just want to start spending money and making it back in boatloads. And I get that, but at the same time, we need to go back to the beginning process where we need to make sure we have the foundation of your business set up correctly before we even talk about paid advertising, because I could have a tremendous paid advertising campaign, but if I don't have the correct target audience and I don't have the correct offer for that target audience, I'm going to be fantastic ads, fantastic videos to promote. We need to go take a step back and make sure that we have the foundation of the business set up 100% correctly. And again, the foundation for the business, any business, whether you're selling products, newer, more so 2020 type services such as programs that, or even more traditional services, like I mentioned with financial advisors and even lawyers. I've worked with lawyers as well. You need to have the foundation set up where you know exactly who your target audience is, what they're looking for, what their pain points are, what their needs are, what their budget is, and then that's when you can craft your offer based on that. So let me give you an example of my target audience and my offer. So my target audience is generally, of course, it can deviate. It's people looking to grow their business, whether it's an existing business or they're looking to launch a business concept and generate sales consistently and therefore income consistently. That's my target audience. I know a lot of their pain points are the fact that they feel stuck, right? They see people making money online, they see the posts from the gurus out there, and they're like, why can't I get some of that money? And so they feel stuck and they don't know what to do next, right? One person online tells them this, and then another person tells them to do the exact opposite. And again, they just feel stuck. And so that's one pain point that I feel my ideal clients have, number one. Number two, it's also the fallacy of if you don't know what you don't know, in that sense, where sometimes people go in overconfident, they try it themselves and they waste $5,000 or $10,000 on advertising. And again, they just didn't know what they didn't know. And so that's another pain point where they come in saying, I've already wasted $15,000 on advertising, so I'm going to invest to work with you to make sure it's done right from day one. So that's another pain point of my target audience. And I'd say another pain point for my particular target audience is the fact that they don't have clarity on what we're discussing right now, who they're marketing to and what they're promoting, right? I've had some clients who came in with fantastic ads, great images, great copywriting, great videos, but they had no idea who they were targeting and what their price point should be. And so that's another pain point. They just don't know if their offer is too high in price, too low, targeting the right people. So that's just an example of my target audience. And once I have all of that information, I can use that to then develop an offer based on something that will fulfill their needs and solve their pain points and fix their problems. All right. And so that's where my offer is helping them step by step build what I call a client acquisition system. And so that's, like I mentioned earlier in this video, you have the marketing on one side, and that's basically us generating interest in your services or products. So let's say for me, I offer marketing and consulting and coaching services. I could be the best coach in the world. I could be the best marketer, but if nobody knows who I am, if nobody has ever heard of Alex Albrand or Dream Client Academy, my company, I won't get any business. I won't generate revenue. So that's where we have to start first on the marketing side, generating some interest, right? Getting people to know your name, getting people to see what you have to offer, right? So that's one side of it that I help them with. On the other side, you have sales. Because again, you could have great marketing, but if you're not able to convert that interest into actual sales, which then of course leads to income, you're not going to have a system, right? It's not just one or the other. You need marketing and you need sales to really make the system 100% effective. So that's my offer. That's what I help my clients with. It solves their pain points, and I also help them fix their offer, get clarity on exactly who they're targeting, what their price point is, and then of course help them market that offer to that target audience, help them sell their offer, and that's where then they start to make the money. And that's really it, right? So that's where, again, to go back to what Denzel was mentioning, we don't want to just start talking about paid advertising and data, KPIs, all these other more complex things. We just have to keep it simple, right? We have to have an offer to promote to a certain target audience first. Then we can go into setting up the marketing to generate interest, right? Generate leads. Then we can try to convert those leads into actual paying customers. That's where we transition from marketing to sales. And so that's really where I wanted to start. So Denzel, let me know if that makes sense, if you have any other questions, or if you want to chime in.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And how am I sounding now? A little bit better?
Great. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I got, what was it again? Client acquisition. What was that?
System.
Client
Yes.
acquisition system. That's a big key takeaway. So before I even place any type of paid advertisement, right? So we're starting with the ground. We're laying the foundation here. I have to create an offer for my ad, right? Because I can't just
for your ad and your business. Yeah.
right.
You
I can't just right. I can't just have something, right, and not. I can't just have an ad where I'm just like promoting, like, hey, come see me, come talk to me, you know, get leads, but not have an actual, you know, closing system, pricing, offer, deliverables, and actual. So that whole thing needs to get set up first. Actually have an offer, price point. I have to pick the type of client, like you were going over. I have to figure out their pain points.
Yes.
And then I have to make sure that not only in my speaking, am I delivering on those pain points and providing that solution, but it's also in the actual ad, right? So which leads me to another question here that I wrote down is, you know, what are the need to knows, right? Like, what do you need to know for that paid, specific paid advertisement? What do I need to have in place? What do I need to know, right? Before I actually launch it and start throwing money in the wind, right?
So basically just more so general tips. Like, what do you need to know before going into any paid advertising campaign?
Correct.
Basically, right? Understood. So I'd say the biggest thing, number one, is people assume they need to have a huge, large budget to get into paid advertising. Or some clients tell me, okay, I'm ready to spend money. I got 10,000 allotted for the next 2 months. I'm like, $10,000 for what? For the next 2 months? Yeah, we don't need that much. We could start off small. So that's where a lot of people, like I said, they think they need to save up for years to get an advertising budget when, look, it's best anyways to start small. Like, take me, for example. When I first started running ads for my business to get myself clients, I only spent $100 a week. And in terms of advertising, that's definitely on the smaller side. But it's still a decent budget, right? And so I turned that 400 into 4,500 in terms of revenue directly tied to that advertising budget. And so that's where, for me, then I was able to spend 600 month two. I reinvested the profits, then 800, and then 1,000. And the best thing about that strategy also is that the ad campaign gets optimized as time goes on, right? We see what advertisements work best. We see, in terms of demographics, what age range is responding best to the ads, what gender, what location. We can get very specific in terms of how to track the performance. So if anything, it's better to start small, so you're risking less while you're getting the campaign more optimized as time goes on. So I'd say that's number one. Don't feel like you have to have a huge budget. However, don't have huge expectations if you have a small budget. Because again, if you're only spending 400 a month, and I say only because it's not huge, right? You can get good results. Like for me, I turned 400 into 4,500. The financial advisor, he turned 400 into a $100,000 client. So that's great. But at the same time, we can't expect those type of results consistently with that small of a budget. And so that's why the goal is to always scale over time. But to get started, at least, you don't need a huge budget at all.
Got it. So we don't need a huge budget. And it's important to, you know, you want to set certain expectations. You don't want to just say, all right, I'm going to throw $400 or $500 into this, you know, say opportunity, really. So, you know, paid advertising and expect to land, you know, make $1 million or $500,000 or $250,000.
Or get like a client every single day, you know, like that sort of thing where it's just, and that's the thing though, it also does require context. So that's what I help my clients with as well, saying, look, if you want to get one new client a week, it's going to cost you X. And so that's where, you know, people can benefit if they work with somebody like me. But if we're talking about general tips, that's just really number one. Don't think you have to spend so much to get started. It's best to start small, because also psychologically, it lets you see the results. It lets you get a, you know, a little bit more comfortable spending, even if it's $50 a week, $50 a week, it's a start, right? You're seeing Facebook and Google take the money out of your account. But then over time, go ahead.
And we're doing that for me as well. Like even though I have a good amount of money to throw into paid advertising, like even you recommended, all right, we don't have to just throw a ton of money right away. Let's see how well does $100 work in this environment. Let's see how well $200, $300, $400, $500 work in this particular environment over the next 90 days. And then we actually have something to go off of, something we can track. It's predictable. We say, okay, your clients are located on YouTube. This is where they're spending 50% of their time on YouTube. Another 30% are on Facebook. Another 20% are on Instagram. So I can make that decision. I said, well, majority of my clients or ideal viewers, subscribers, are right here on YouTube watching these specific YouTube channels, liking these type of videos, clicking on these types of ads, and then we're able to say, all right, well now, since that
Yes.
$300, $400, $500 was returning, I'm not sure if you know the numbers right off the top of your head, but X amount of impressions or
Or
views
subscribers.
turned into
Depending on,
subscribers, right? Just from that specific area. Well, if you like that number, we go,
double down.
we double down, right? And if we don't like that number, the best part is I didn't throw 1,000, 10 grand into it. I'm able to evaluate that and say, all right, actually our customers are on Facebook, so let's go over there. And being able to, I guess, this is a short-term / long-term strategy, because it really can, from what I've heard your clients when I watch your testimonies and how fast people grow, so it can definitely be a short-term turnout, but really looking at it long-term, like I'm not just trying to put in money for the next 90 days. Like, this has to be a year-over-year strategy that you're implementing into your business. So from a financial perspective point of view, I would say some of the beginner things is have your budget, right? Create a budget, establish a budget, know your 4 major numbers. So I know for my people watching, you guys know what I'm getting into. Know your numbers, know where you stand, know what your cash flows are at. So when you talk to a guy like Alex, you can say, look, this is what I have to work with. How do I maximize on those dollars? And then, like you said, having the client acquisition system, having an offer is really good. So now my next question is, what are the exact, you gotta have it, no-brainer tools or platforms that I should buy or own whether it's on a monthly basis or annual, in addition to that paid advertisement, right? And so just to be clear, if you want, you can kind of explain what is an actual paid advertisement and what type of paid advertising are we talking about. This is online, social media, paid advertising through social media platforms such as Facebook, Google, right? YouTube, in that sense. So just want to be really, really clear when people are listening to us. This is the type of paid advertising we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I didn't want to get too ahead of ourselves where I just mentioned earlier, I don't want to assume people know or what they don't know.
Right.
So I think let's circle back and just talk about what a paid advertisement is.
Let's do that.
So I think that's a good next step. And so I'm sure some of you watched The Social Dilemma. It was a documentary / movie on Netflix.
My mom was watching that. I was 20 minutes in. I was like, what the hell?
And so they talked a lot about how if the product is free, you're the product. You don't pay to use Google. You don't pay to use Facebook. You don't pay to use Instagram. You don't pay to use YouTube. They are all free, but you're the product in the sense that we as advertisers, we spend money to put ads in front of you strategically on those platforms. So on Facebook, you'll see on your stories, let's say Facebook or Instagram story, about 20% of your stories are ads. So that's where you'll see the little swipe up arrow at the bottom of the story. And on Facebook feed, it'll usually have a button on the ad, something like learn more, download, apply now, book now, etc. And so let's say I'm working with an accountant who's looking to get more clients. They'll set up an ad on Facebook talking to business owners saying, hey, if you need help with bookkeeping, payroll, taxes, etc., click the learn more button to request more information. So they'll click the learn more button. They'll get presented a form. They'll fill out their name, email, phone number, maybe some revenue, just so the accounting firm knows exactly how big the company is. They'll click submit, and that's the entire ad, right? So it's not necessarily a complex thing where, going back to what you said, Denzel, you don't really need other pieces of software. it's really more so you need a strategy. Because again, I have clients who've came in, they've already spent 10 grand, 20 grand on their own, and they say, "Oh, I don't know if Facebook ads works for my business. I don't know if my ideal customer is on Facebook." And I try not to laugh, and I'm a nice guy, but still, I laugh sometimes because I'm like, there's
Yeah.
2 billion people on Facebook, and you're targeting a super broad audience of
Right.
consumers or even businesses. That's millions, if not tens of millions of people. Like, what do you mean your audience isn't on Facebook? And so that's where, for me, it's really just them not having a strategy. They just went, they spent the money, and then now they're kind of scarred from it.
Hmm.
And they have a little bit of a beef with Facebook or YouTube, whatever platform, even though it wasn't because of software, it wasn't really because of the platform. It's because they came with no strategy. And so if anything, I'd say you don't really need any other pieces of software. You don't need them. They will help over time once you start to grow your business, but to get started, you need the right strategy, you need a decent budget, and that's it. Right? Anything else is ancillary, it's extra. But with the right strategy, you can go a long way. And of course, with spending a decent amount of money, but still, you don't have to spend, like I said, 10,000, 15,000. You can start off with 400 or 500 a month and get good results. Then, like Denzel mentioned, after the initial 90 days, spend 1,000 a month. See if you can maintain the return on investment level and maintain that client acquisition system at 1,000 a month. Then 60 days after that, do 1,800 a month. And that's how you're going to start to make more money and really scale. And so that'd be my advice. You don't need software. You don't need all these other things. You just need a strategy, and you have to know exactly who your ad's going to be shown to, what your offer is going to be, and exactly what numbers you need to hit to simply make money and make a profit.
Got it. So just to be clear, we don't need a platform or a software to track the advertisement, the ads, what we're placing, because for the most part, the platform itself, say Facebook or Google, is providing that for us, where we
Yes.
can see our reports. There is no monthly fee, no subscription to use that those softwares, those platforms to track our ads and see our results and see how much money it costs per lead, per view, per client, per click. We don't have to pay for none of that. So, and this is good to know because I'm sure there's, scammers, people that are just, screwing people left and right. And I'm sure me logically, in my head, because I don't know about advertising, but only through you. But if I didn't know you and I was looking up, oh, how do I get into, online paid advertising? And I see someone that says, oh yeah, you need this software, it'll show you everything, yada, yada. And so you got to pay for this, plus you got to pay for the ad. But did I really need that? Right? Did I
Exactly.
really need that? And so your answer is no. We don't really need something to track it. There's free tools, free platforms. It has everything we possibly could need for that, and that just saves somebody in this room a ton of money because they might have been thinking like I've been thinking, oh, what's the fee to manage that ad?
Mm-hmm.
You know. So we don't need a tool or platform for the ads specifically,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure you would agree we do need tools, certain platform software for our actual offer that we're providing our business, such as our website, landing page,
Mm-hmm.
right? And those
Email
things, and
marketing.
email
Mm-hmm.
marketing, CRM, client relationship manager tool, whether that's a ClickFunnels or ConvertKit
Mm-hmm.
or
Pipedrive, Zapier.
Pipedrive, Zapier, right?
Like,
Those things
trust me,
you
there's a lot of
definitely
good pieces of software. Oh yeah.
right. You
Like you,
definitely recommend having that with your ads, correct? And if so, which ones?
I mean, that's kind of the thing. I recommend it, but I'd rather somebody wait until they start making some money to then get exactly what they need step by step. Meaning, depending on the business, somebody might not, for their particular offer, need ClickFunnels to start. They might not
Okay.
need it. It could be a great addition, but once they start spending some money on advertising and they make some money, then I would recommend to them, okay, now it's a good time to invest into ClickFunnels. Then they make some more money. Then I say, okay, now we need Zapier. We need to automate some things.
Got
Then
it.
they invest into that. And so it depends on the client, though. Some clients, they already have a growing, established business and they're looking to scale. And so for them, it's like, $100 here, $25 there, $50 there, it's not that big of a deal because they're already spending a good amount on advertising. But with some clients, like every dollar counts. And so that's why I'm saying more so, like they don't need all those different pieces of software to start. They're definitely more bonuses and extra depending on their business. Some
Depending
might
on their
need
business.
ClickFunnels, some
Right.
might need ConvertKit, but I'd say it's a case by case basis. And again, I'd rather somebody who has a smaller budget say, look, let's eliminate all the softwares that you need right now. Let's eliminate them for now so we can focus all of your extra money on the ads to make more money, and then we'll have enough money easily to spend on ClickFunnels and all those different pieces of software and tools.
Very interesting approach. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have to kind of unlearn the way that I
Yeah.
did it because we're talking paid, not organic. So, you know, I grew organic because I didn't have any money to throw into paid advertising. And I was willing to create my own content, which is like my own ad essentially, and have it get very little views. I was willing to just keep, you know, talking about the same topics or similar topics that people care about, that people are looking up, people are searching, and eventually, you know, the free platforms start to reward
And generate traffic.
right, and generate traffic for free for someone like myself. And then, so when you're, so I'm trying to think here, like when someone is getting ready to place an advertisement on a specific platform, Facebook, Google, TikTok, Instagram, all of these are available to run ads, correct? Right? What needs to be in the ad, right? And then where are we sending them? So if I don't, so if you're saying I don't need these other platforms, where are they going so people can understand whether they need it or not need it? Because you were just saying, you know, you do recommend it over time, but we don't need it right away. So for people that don't need those platforms right away, where are we sending them that ad that we place? Where are the clients clicking, and then where are they going to? Are they hitting a website? Are they hitting a landing page, right? Or are they hitting, say, a YouTube channel, like someone to follow and watch? Because I know that's something that you and I are doing together right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's focus on like what needs to be in the ad. It's like no brainer. If that's not in the ad, it's not gonna, you know, be successful.
Yeah.
You know,
Gotcha.
like
So,
some of the top things you would say.
so I'd say to go back to, I believe it was one of your last questions in that sequence where you talked about where do we send them if we don't have ClickFunnels, let's say we don't have Shopify. Facebook, they're trying to basically become a monopoly for client acquisition because I don't know if you know this, but they just added a CRM, their own CRM within Facebook. And
Really?
for those that don't know, let's say I'm selling services, I'm selling a coaching program. Once I get leads, I use a CRM tool, it's customer relationship management, to track the leads and see who's going to close in the next 7 days, who do I need to call, who do I need to text. And so
Right,
that's
the
what a
follow-up.
CRM is. Yeah, just to clarify for people, but Facebook has their own CRM right now, and they have their own appointments tool. Meaning, if somebody wants to schedule a call, you don't need Calendly or other softwares. Facebook has Facebook appointments, and Facebook, of course, like you said, has the reporting where you see how many leads you got, everything like that. And so that's where, for me, Facebook also has a tool called Facebook Lead Form. Facebook Lead Form, it's
Wow.
basically like a contact form landing page hybrid within Facebook. It's super simple to set up, no extra cost. And the best part about it is that it autofills the prospect's information. So they don't really have to put in the work of typing in their name, email, and phone number. It's already done for them with the autofill feature within
Right,
Facebook.
because they're on Facebook. Facebook
And
has all
Facebook
their
already
information.
they have their information.
Age,
So
gender, freaking
whatever
date of
questions you
birth,
want. Yeah,
email,
that you,
first name,
you
last, middle name.
I mean, you can ask where do they work. You can ask about their relationship
What?
status on the form, and it most likely would autofill almost the entire form. So that's what I'm saying. They have a monopoly on this whole client acquisition system building. But to refer back to your question, I would send them from the ad, or once they click, let's say even book now. If they want to book a call with me to grow their business. They see the ad, they click the book now button, and it brings them to that Facebook lead form where they provide their name, email, and phone number. They click submit, and that's when on the next page they can schedule their appointment. And that's all within Facebook. And so again, that's only for businesses though that are offering services, right? So if you're offering a product, not saying my system won't work, it's just we can't go that approach. You'll need Shopify, you might need ClickFunnels.
Right. Printful,
yeah.
right? Like those different
Exactly.
where
Like
they
for
can
products, apparel,
manufacture. Got it.
basically drop shipping, almost like apparel drop shipping.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, you'll need those additional pieces of software, which don't break the bank. But that's what I'm
No.
saying, referring back to what you mentioned, it's a case by case thing where most of the time I'd rather start a client off with a more simple approach, just get leads in, teach them about the sales process, get them a few clients, then reinvest that revenue back into ClickFunnels. Now we really launched the main client acquisition system, then ConvertKit, right, for email marketing, then maybe some text marketing, and we build from there. And so that's my initial approach. And then also, I think you mentioned, what do you need in an ad? So from a basic point of view, you need creative. It's called ad creative, and it's basically, what are people going to see in terms of visuals? Is it going to be an image or a video? So you need either or, an image or video in the ad. You also need ad text. And that's where then you can really not sell your service and talk about price or anything like that, but that's where you can resonate with that target audience and hit their pain points. Like for me and my clients, I could say, hey, are you feeling stuck in your business? Have you already wasted, $5,000-$10,000 on advertising with no results? Are you looking to get clarity on your offer and who you should target? That's where the ad text would describe that. Also coinciding with the image or the visual, that's where those two combine. So you have the ad text and you have the ad image, and then you have the call to action button, which, like I said, could be download. It could be buy now, book now, apply now. Facebook and even Google, YouTube, they offer a lot of different options for that. But from the ground floor, that's really all you need for an advertisement campaign in terms of the ads themselves. You need visuals, you need text that resonates with the audience and hits their pain points. And that's where then you need a call to action to get them to the next step. And so from a basic perspective, that's really all you need for an advertisement.
Very interesting. Okay, so what comes to mind, and I think this is super important, is when you were talking about the call to action. So as a business owner, I need to identify, and having someone like you is going to help me identify, where am I sending these prospects, these potential leads, these viewers? Am I running an ad to get likes, subscribes, views, or am I running an ad to have them buy a physical product or a, immaterial,
Service.
A service, a digital product?
Or even to have the call to action call the business directly.
Correct.
Yeah,
Like they
that
want,
as well.
that the ad was so good, or maybe the ad wasn't clear enough that, I'm a type of person that I need to talk to someone before I buy it, or especially if it's a course, like an online course. It's something like my service. I know I get a lot of people that just want to have a conversation before they sign up, or they have one or two questions, and then maybe I have their lead, I have their attention. I'm able to respond with an automated, system, which, if I'm getting this right, this is my client acquisition system, correct? This is part of it.
Yes.
Where I'm running these videos that I put out on YouTube, and I'm running ads. Now that, kind of using a real life situation here. So I'm making these organic videos, I'm creating organic creative content, and then there's links. People click those links, they buy. They buy your service, they buy my service, they buy something that I refer to in the video that I talked about. The paid advertising, for me personally, we're running it in a way where we're trying to get more subscribers, more views, not necessarily business right off the bat. And so for everybody watching, it's important to know, why are you running that ad and what are you running it for? And you got to be very, very clear. Like, am I trying to get more views, more subscribers? Because I know for me, the way that I operate, I know that the more people watch the video, the more in sales I'll have, because that's just how I like to operate.
That's how the funnel developed.
How the funnel developed, right? It was like, like you were telling me, even in previous conversations that we had before, that even if I call these people and talk to them, try and sell them over the phone, I was actually getting better results by just providing people with the information up front, and they click and buy, click and buy, click and buy. So it was actually costing me money to actually call each individual person to then sell them over the phone for my program. Rather, get them to the videos, get them watching the content, get them warmed up, and when they're ready, they buy. Versus someone like yourself, if I'm not mistaken, the way you run your ads, or some of your clients, they're not doing the way I'm doing it. They're doing it where they're trying to book a call now, call the business owner right now. You know, let's close this right here, right now, today. Set up a phone call.
In some cases.
In some cases.
I'm not like those movies, like ABC Always Be Closing or whatever. Whatever. Like, I'm not Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like, you know, trying to close the deal today. But it is more so like you're saying, hey, let's have a conversation with them. Let's build the trust that way, add value that way, see if they're a fit, and then go from there. And at the same time, it depends on the price point for what you're offering. Like, let's say you offer something that's $15,000. No, you're not going to sell that over a sales page, unless your name is Tony Robbins, maybe. Even then, he's going to have a tough time. He still has a sales team that, like you're saying, they call people, they set up appointments. That's where they sell his VIP $10,000, $20,000 trips and packages. And so that's where it depends on the offer. If you're selling a $5 product, it's not worth calling somebody. It's just not worth the time. Sell it on an e-commerce store. If you're selling a $2,000 course, it could be worth taking the time to get on the phone, but ideally you can have it more automated, where then people go through, like you said with your system, they go through, you provide value, information up front, and then if they really want it themselves, they'll buy. And they might email you with a few questions before they buy.
Yeah.
So but then with me, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so to even clarify what I was saying even more, so let's say you're a business owner that doesn't have 500 videos like I do. You don't have all this content that you spend hours upon hours creating, and you just have the ad, you have the number to call, the website to land on, the email, or a downloadable PDF to gain access to the material to sell your $2,000 course, your $4,000, $5,000 course. Yes, you're going to probably need to obviously follow up with that person, respond by email, text, phone call, set up an appointment, have a free 30-minute, 45-minute discovery call, whatever that may be, to warm them up. And you're doing it personally, especially if it's a digital product. It's not a physical product that they buy. So that's pretty, just wanted to clarify that for people that are thinking, oh, let me just, you know, send them to my Instagram page and they'll magically buy. No, that's not happening.
It's not happening, no.
The reason why it happens for me is because I'm someone that is willing to create all this content. But if you're not willing
to time.
Right, and invest the time. If you're not willing to do that, paid advertising is more, like you would say, more predictable, it's reliable, I have numbers, I know where they're at, it's a lot faster. It just now it boils down to my ability to have, whether it's a sales script, a closing process, you know, I gotta be on my game, me personally, building up skills. So I want to talk about the successes, the failures of paid advertising, bringing that awareness to people, setting realistic expectations, and then also understanding, look, you could fail, like if you don't do X, Y, and Z. And even if you do, the whole
Nothing's a
alphabet.
guarantee.
Nothing's
Yeah.
a guarantee, right?
Hmm.
So when you're working with your clients, how do you present that? Is that,
Hmm.
is that part of your beginning, is that mentioned in your ads, or is it more so during that discovery call when someone books a call with you? Kind of break that down for us, for people that are just like me, just starting out, wanting to learn about paid advertising. You want to do it
Hmm.
right, you want to do it effective, you want to maximize your dollars, minimize losses. Help us understand what environment we're getting into.
Absolutely. So going back to what you said with realistic expectations, that's why on the initial onboarding call, more so, once I start working with the client, I ask them, let's say they're offering services. How many clients do you want to get per month? Some say only one, some say 10 or 20. And depending on the number, I'll say, look, based on getting leads for, let's say, this cost, and you're going to be able to close, let's say, 10% of leads for every new client that you want to get, you're going to have to spend this much in advertising. Could be 100, could be 400, depending on how expensive the service is that they're selling. And so that's where I tell them, okay, if you want 4 clients a month, it's going to cost 1,000, or it's going to cost 500, or 1,500. Depends on the client, depends on their business. So that's where I go with that initial onboarding process and tell them exactly what they're going to need to do in terms of ad spend to hit their goals. So that's where I kind of try to align their expectations with reality. And with
Got it.
some people, it's a bit tough, and some are super
Yeah.
patient, or
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, whatever it takes, like I'll just keep spending, and
Hmm.
the results will come in." So
Yeah.
that's number one. Number two,
So
how I like to
before,
mitigate.
one
Oh yeah, go
sec,
ahead.
before
Yeah.
you go to the next one, I want to kind of touch on that
Hmm.
one point with the expectation. I don't want to lose my thought here. I just
Yeah.
lost it.
No problem.
But you were getting at how you're telling, like, let's
Hmm.
say I'm a client and you're telling me, Denzel, it's going to cost $1,000 to get 5 clients. How do
Hmm.
you come up with that number, that formula,
The
so that
baseline.
yeah, that everybody knows?
Yeah.
Like, is it
Hmm.
is it based off your prior experience, or are you basing it off like what Facebook, how they price their ads, like
Hmm.
how, who's doing the pricing when it comes to
Gotcha.
$1,000 for four
Hmm.
clients, $500 for 25 clients? Like,
Hmm.
how
So
does
I'm
that work?
using That's a great question. So I'm using my experience. I've probably had at this point, I wouldn't say like thousands of clients, but hundreds for sure. Most of them selling services. And so that's where I've seen people with, it's called a customer acquisition cost. Basically, how much is it costing me as a business owner in advertising to get one client to sign up with me? All right, one client to sign up with me might cost 500 or 400. Somebody else might cost 200, some other business 800. So that's why I've worked with a lot of these different companies, and I've gotten a sense of, on average, what the customer acquisition cost, the CAC, what that number should look like. And so that's where it's never a guarantee. It's just more so sometimes basic logic, right? And I always am conservative. I'm never trying to overpromise and underdeliver. So, like, let's say a client says, I want to get 4 clients a month, and they sell, let's say, marketing services like me. I'll tell them, look, if you get 10 leads, you should be able to close one. Let's say 1 out of 12, just to be conservative. So, if you want 4 clients a month, you got to get, let's round up to 50 leads a month. Based on my experience, you're going to have 50 leads a month at a cost of, let's say, $10 or $20 each. So, you do 50 leads a month times, let's say, even just $10, that's roughly what, $500 in ad spend, right? And so that's where then, okay, it's going to cost you roughly 500 in ad spend to get roughly 4 clients, right? They might get three, they might get five. It's not a guarantee, but it's also just based off of raw numbers and logic and my experience as well. Understanding all of these different data points and making it simple for them so that they go in knowing exactly what they need to spend, but also, Denzel, they know what they need to do.
Got
Because
it.
I'd say that's something else on the sales side where I can get them leads all day. But if they don't put in the work on the follow up, they don't call them, they don't text, they don't email, like you're saying, they kind of expect it to be magic sometimes. And that's where then they're like, Alex, I'm not making sales. And I'm like, you got 50 leads last week. Like, what do you mean you're not making sales? And they tell me, oh, I called them and they didn't answer. And so I move on to the next lead, or I didn't call them at all. I mean, I had a client, Denzel, this is like 2 years ago, way back. They were generating like really good solid leads for $5 each, and they were spending 1,000 a month. So they were getting like hundreds
A
of
lot of
leads a
leads.
month,
Yeah.
and they weren't getting any clients. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, are you guys calling, texting, emailing? They're like, no, I thought they would just show up magically. Literally, that's what they said. I thought they would just show up magically. It was a fitness studio. And
Ah,
that's where I started to learn, like, I have to coach my clients on
right.
sales as well as marketing, because it's, it's not just one or the
They
other.
go
You
hand in
need both.
hand. You need both for sure. It's not
You
a
need both.
right. No one's
Yes.
just gonna walk into your store, right? If you're not Macy's, if you're not Amazon, you don't have that brand. That's the difference between like someone that doesn't have content or brick and mortar, right? If you're coming into this, you don't have a brick and mortar, you don't have content, so you're a nobody essentially, right? And you don't have a brand.
Nobody knows
Nobody
your name.
nobody knows
Nobody
your
knows your
name.
company name.
You don't have
Yeah.
star power, nothing like that.
You don't have a hair or beard like Denzel. You don't have that. All right. Let's be honest. Tremendous hair, great beard. Just had to slip that in there. But keep going.
I'll get my hair cut tomorrow because I'm looking rough right now. So, but thanks for giving me the
Yeah.
compliment. But yeah, like if you don't have these, pre-existing benefits, and now you're out here spending this money on paid advertising, and you're getting leads.
Yep.
So somebody was willing to give you their name and email, and maybe phone number,
and
right? Or
answer a few questions.
answer
Yeah.
a few questions. They don't know you, and so they're giving personal information to you. You better capitalize on that. This is where the whole 10x mindset comes into play, where you gotta like kind of go a little bit hard and
It's effort.
call in the morning. Okay, they didn't answer in the morning, maybe they're a morning worker. Call in the evening. Oh, maybe they're a nighttime worker. Call in the middle of the day. Call during lunch hour. Call right before dinner. Call after dinner hours. Call before they leave the house while they're driving like you gotta, and that, I guess that's where it helps with having that CRM and that whole
And yeah,
system
like you're
in
saying,
place.
trust me, I learned from that experience among others. And so with my clients, I give them a template, literally, Denzel, a template for once you get a new lead, here's exactly what to say when you call. If they don't answer, leave them this voicemail. Then I give them the delay. So your second message should be a text, and it should say this and send it an hour later. Then in 5 hours, send this email. And so like you're saying, I help my clients as well, give them the exact template, the exact timing and everything of how and when they should follow up. And that's where it really is just effort at that point. Like there's no skill, there's no strategy. I have the sales script for them and everything.
Got
And
it.
so like you're mentioning, I try to just give them the marketing and the sales combined. And really, like I said, it's really just about effort at that point. In terms of going back to our original point about projecting, what the customer
expectation.
acquisition cost is going to be, I tell them also upfront, if you don't call them, if you don't text, if you don't email, you're not going to make money. Like there's only so much I can do in terms of providing the leads, giving you the scripts, the templates. But if you don't put in the effort, I'm just telling you up front, like, don't come back to me complaining. Don't be mad about it. And that's why now I've learned to be really upfront about it.
Yeah.
So not that it happens often, but hypothetically, if it does, they know, like, yeah, I don't have proof. Like, I didn't call, I didn't text, I didn't email. And it
Yeah.
also gives them a little bit of a kick in the butt saying,
Yeah.
okay, like this is on me now. Like he's doing his job. I'm getting leads. I'm getting interest. I need to look at this template that he provided, look at the scripts, and just do the work.
Got it. So just to provide more clarity on that pricing, right? So like you said, the pricing is based off your experience logically, but when I put $1 into a Facebook advertisement, how does Facebook distribute that dollar? How does that work? So you're projecting, hey Denzel, it's going to cost you say $1,000 to get 20 leads. We get the 20. If I close 40% because I did the work, then in reality my cost versus reward, that part was solely based off me closing. So whether I have a 10% closing ratio, 20, 50% closing ratio, 80% closing ratio, that 1,000 that once the lead has come in, at that point, I'm able to kind of match, okay, this is how much it costs to get 25. But my real question is more digging into that thousand, that dollar. How is it that you're able to determine, or like kind of go even deeper into that $1,000? How is that being spread out in Facebook? Is this something you're controlling? Is it kind of out of your hands at that point? Or, where does it become like technological in that sense?
Yeah. And so basically, like you're saying, it's not really like a billboard where a lot of people come in and say, okay, how much is it to place this ad for a day? Like, how much do they charge?
Right.
And it's like
right,
they could
right.
charge, we could, pay them $2 a day or 2,000 or even 20,000. It's very variable. It's not fixed, meaning if you want to put up a billboard on the highway,
That's
the company's
fixed.
going to tell you it's, let's say, $2,000 for 30 days.
Right.
That's it. You're going to get this much exposure. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Got it.
Right?
And
That's
what
a
would
fixed
change
type of
that?
advertising.
Yeah, and what would change that 30 days is if there's a presidential election maybe on this day, and it costs even more. Or maybe your billboard is right next to a stadium, and it just so happens to be, Monday Night Football, Super Bowl. Yeah, it's a Super Bowl, or the NBA Finals is. So it would dramatically increase that.
Yes.
With that being said, is that applied in the online paid advertising space as well? Is that how that works? So kind of break that down for us. I didn't want to cut you off.
Absolutely. No, that was a great analogy because that's really what it is. It's variable. You don't go into Facebook advertising saying, I want to spend 50 cents each on these 10 ads every single day. How it works is I give Facebook a budget of, let's say, $20 a day. And I set up one targeting group, meaning I'm targeting, let's say, people that live in Texas who own a small business and are 30 to 60 years old. So that's who I'm telling Facebook, you can only show this ad or these 5 ads, let's say, to these exact people, nobody else. So I'm giving them that information, number one. Number two, I provide the ads, like I mentioned. I give them the visuals. I give them the images, the ad text, the landing page setup, everything. So I'm telling Facebook, we're having a conversation digitally. I'm saying, hey, I'm giving you these ads. I'm telling you to target these exact type of people. And I'm giving you $20 a day to spend it as effectively as you see fit to generate the best results. Go at it. And so to go back to your question, it's a bit split because it depends on the quality of the ads I put out, the quality of my targeting. Is it too narrow? Is it too broad? And of course, with Facebook, variables that we can't control. Is one day great, the next day bad, the next few days are okay? That's a possibility. Or you could have one great month and one bad month. Certain variables are outside of our control, but over time, even let's say after 90 days, 100 days, it all evens out, right? If your campaign is set up for success, you did good ads, you set up good ad sets, good targeting, good visuals, you're going to get results. It's just about staying patient, going through a bad week to then have a good week, going through a bad month to have a good month, if not a great month. So it is variable in that sense. But again, you're giving Facebook a budget, you're giving them ads, you're giving them targeting, and telling them to spend the money as effectively as possible to get the most leads, get the most calls, whatever your call to action is. Like you mentioned, it's a case-by-case thing. But that's really how it works in terms of providing the ad spend and how they map it out in terms of what to distribute to which ad.
Got it. So the more information I give you as a client. So if I say, hey, Alex, I know for a fact that the client that I'm targeting, say mothers, they are typically available during these hours. They're going to be on YouTube during these hours on these specific channels. I'm able to get that in depth with it, with that type of paid out.
You can get, I mean, the targeting is tremendous. You can target parents with kids that are 13 to 17 years old. You can target small business owners. Right. It's super specific in terms of the targeting.
Very interesting. And, you know, it's interesting from the business perspective, somewhat scary if you're watching and you're not a business owner, you don't desire to like do all this that I'm talking about.
You don't want to see ads.
You just kind of want to be debt free and live your life.
Yeah, right. And you're like, oh my gosh. I'm
You're
being
like,
targeted like this. This is disgusting. But as a business owner, we're like, cha-ching, yes. And
yeah,
so it's two sides of the coin.
definitely
Yeah.
two sides to the coin. You know, I know I am a sucker for Instagram ads, and my girlfriend even tells me this. Like, I'll be talking about something, not even
Hmm.
searching for it. And I think this has happened over the last 1 to 2 years, where I've heard many other people, clients, friends, family, they're like, man, the other day, I was talking about something, and then it freaking ad showed up right on my phone,
Yeah.
the exact shoe color size that I need.
Hmm.
Boom, and I buy it. And that's how I am on Instagram. I'll be talking about some things that I want. Instagram shows it to me. I'm in. I buy.
Yep.
No hesitation. I don't even
Hmm.
look if this is a legit company. It's bad, right? I'm just buying stuff from
If the
China,
shipping
from
time, yeah,
anywhere.
like if the shipping time is 60 days, doesn't matter. I
It'll
like,
come.
dude, it's a
It'll
good
get here
deal.
when it
It'll
gets
get
here.
here at some point. Yeah.
50% off. They sell me hard on that. So
Hmm.
for that business owner, they're like, cha-ching, yeah, we
Hmm.
got them.
Yep.
If you're an individual, you're like, oh my god, I'm just gonna delete all your apps tonight, you know. But
Yeah.
so this is good. I think that was really helpful with the whole variable, with the ads,
Hmm.
and if I do have a small marketing $500 budget, is it wise in your opinion? And this is probably hard to answer, but
Hmm.
over a 30-day period, is it better for me to stretch the $500? Generally speaking, over 30 days per month, like you said, we're giving Facebook a budget per day.
Hmm.
Is it wiser to spread the 500 over 30 days, or get even more specific on when your ideal customer is actually on Facebook? Is it going to be on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, because
Oh,
they're off from work? And
okay.
so in reality, if I went hard on Saturday and Sunday 4 times a month, 4 or 5 weeks,
Hmm.
each Saturday and Sunday, would I net a better result? Or is it better to just spread it out over the month, constantly having your ad going to those people? How would you respond to that?
Hmm. With Facebook advertising, I never say this is the right and only way to do it because it's all subjective. There's really very little with Facebook advertising that is completely 100% objective. I'm just saying from my experience, I like the second approach, but I think I have more of a combination between both where
Got it.
we want to use Facebook's algorithm to our benefit as business owners advertising. They want us to make money. The more money we make, the more money we spend next month on advertising, and then the next quarter, and then we spend money on Facebook advertising for years. So they want us to do well. So we want to use Facebook's algorithm. We don't want to control it too much ourselves. However, if you really want to maximize your ad spend with the beginning of a campaign, right? You want to, let's say, have $500 in ad spend. You want to spend week one not exactly one fourth of that. You could spend 75 week one. When the campaign isn't as optimized, you're getting some data, right? You don't know what ads are going to work well. You don't know what ad sets you're going to do well. So that's why week one, you might want to spend 75. Week two, you could spend 100. But now, after 2 weeks, you have much better data, a very optimized campaign at that point, and you still have, in terms of a budget, what roughly like 225 left to spend over 2 weeks or so. So that's where then you can spend in weeks 3 and 4 a lot more than you spent in week 1 and 2 because you have better data and the campaign is naturally a bit more optimized. And so with a brand new campaign, that's my approach is to scale the ad spend week by week while we still let Facebook's algorithm do what they do and try to make us money.
Got it. Very
Hmm.
interesting. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. That was all of my questions there,
Hmm.
regarding like paid advertising. Kind of want to give you a couple more minutes here to just let us know any other important stuff we need to know, or something you think we might have missed that you wanted to get to.
Hmm.
Did you want to show us some case
Yes.
studies? I think
That's
that'd
what I
be
was going to
cool,
say.
right? Let's get into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I have a few case studies pulled up. And so let me see if I could share my screen. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. Let me know if you guys can see this. Can you see this right now?
Yep.
All right, so I have this on my testimonials page, and I know it seems like this guy's crazy. $5 into a $3,000 client. That's why when people send me, like my clients, they send me messages with, hey, I got this much of return on investment. I made this much money off an ad. I always need receipts, right? I can't just take their word for it, even if I love them. I mean, they're great
Right, right,
people.
right.
I need receipts to really promote it, right? Because I need to verify that he actually only spent $5 in ads to get a $3,000 client. And so that's where this is on my testimonials page. This is one of the ones on the top. If you guys want to check it out for yourself, it's dreamclientacademy.org, not .com, dreamclientacademy.org/results. If you guys want to check it out. So this client, he sells marketing services, coaching services to fitness coaches, helping them grow their business. And this was a little bit later on in his campaign, and we made a few tweaks to his campaign, and he sent me this, and that's why the previous message was, "Hey, I just turned $5 into 3,000 in revenue," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't think so." And so that's why I asked for proof, and he sent it right here. That's where you can see the actual receipt for the $3,000 sale that he made. We want to zoom in there. And so that's where, for me, again, that's not necessarily to be expected. Here, let me zoom back out.
Yeah,
That's not
go over to the left.
Yeah, yeah. I think
There you
there's a little
go.
bit of a lag, and so I'm just trying to work through it here. So you guys see the 3,000, and so that's where, for me, I'm not saying you're gonna come into my program and work with me, and you're gonna turn $5 into 3,000, right? I'm not saying that that's gonna happen all the time. It's definitely more on the rare side. But what if you can turn 300 into 3,000? Right? That's still a great return on investment, and definitely realistic at that point. So that's one example. And again, he sells a service. He got $5 in ads, got a client on the phone, well, prospective client, sold them on his package and closed him. $3,000. Let me pull up another one. This is another client of mine as well, who has a $5,000 offer. He spent $100 in ad spend in his first 30 days, and he generated a $5,000 client. And so again, I'm not saying that you're going to get those results guaranteed. It's more so just showing you how you can start off with a smaller amount of money and turn it into a lot. Then this client, month 2, was able to spend way more in advertising because he was able to reinvest this back into more ad spend. Right, so it just shows you, like, you don't need to come in with $10,000 or $1,000 even. You can come in with a few $100s in advertising. However, you need the right strategy and you need the right help along the way. Because you could, on the flip side, go on your own and spend $5,000 on advertising. And where I have some clients who, with my help, they'll only have to spend 500 and they might get better results than you. It's nothing against you personally. It's just more so you don't know what you don't know, like I mentioned. So that's where I recommend people just work with somebody who's already experienced wins and losses, where I've spent probably 6 figures in advertising. I've had clients who spend per month 20, 40 grand on advertising. And so that's where I've been able to learn through, like Denzel mentioned, really what's realistic, right? If you want to get 8 clients a month, I'll give you a really good estimate in terms of what you need to spend. And so this is just another example. Let's go over to this tab. My screen might be frozen. So give me a second here.
That's all right.
Okay. Yeah, that's also on my site if you guys want to check it out. A little shout out from Grant Cardone. Obviously the 10x king, the 10x
Yeah, love
inventor.
Grant.
Yeah, no, fantastic guy. And so it looks like my screen might be frozen.
Yeah. Well, shout out to
No.
Isaiah Grant as well. For
Mhm.
those who don't know him, I met him at a 10x event. Great guy, awesome dude. He's building a business, and he's great to work with. So he's pretty awesome. Let me see here. I don't know why
If
my
anything,
camera just shut off.
yeah, maybe if you want, yeah, you could try to unshare. Like, I think you're the host of it, so you could stop my screen from sharing, and then I could go back to it.
One sec. I don't know what happened to my camera here. But yeah, so do that one more time. You say you want me to.
You can unshare on my screen, I think, from your end. I can try to reshare it. Yeah, because I think mine is just frozen for whatever reason.
Well, it's actually not popping up anymore, so I actually don't even see it on my end.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, so you can probably
Yeah.
come right back on.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, my entire screen is frozen. Am I on camera still or no?
You are on the camera? Yeah, now I'm putting
Okay,
myself back on as well.
that's fine. Yeah, we'll figure out a way. I have some other case studies to show you guys, but
Yeah, maybe for the people that are, on the email list, if you
yeah.
join, you can join the Facebook community, or you can join my email list, and we'll maybe we could put together like a PDF of like all the results that you have, expectations versus reality versus just kind of being real open and transparent about that. What I'll do now is I'll just kind of go to some questions here.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then, like I said, I gave people the domain if they just want to check all my testimonials out and case studies. It's dreamclientacademy.org/results. So again, not .com, it's Dream Client Academy, dreamclientacademy.org/results. That'll bring you to this page, and I think there's maybe a few dozen testimonials and case studies there. And so, oh, there we go. Well, I think my screen is unfrozen a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you want,
I'll leave it for now. Yeah, it's
Okay.
a little bit shaky, so I'll leave it for now. And if people want to check out the rest, we could figure something out for the email, or they could just go to dreamclientacademy.org/results.
Got it. So I got a good question. This is from a client, and they also gave. So thank you for giving. God bless you. He says, I know that Facebook is perfect for consult type services and not so much for products, but how about for online educational courses such as on teachable.com? So, or like me, Kajabi is another type of online educational course, and I know I'm not running ads to sell my online educational course, so maybe that could be a bit of a and it's just because I haven't explored that, and I'm having this conversation to definitely expand on that. How do you feel about what he's saying here? Would you say that's accurate, or is it just back to the point, you got 2 billion people on Facebook, so is it the business owner, is it the strategy, or would you
Let me
say
just restate the question, because I'm reading it here, and he said, "Oh, Adi, I know that Facebook is perfect for consultant type services. That's true, and not so much for products." I'd say that's not true. If
Okay.
anything, Facebook is, I'd give it 1A for products, 1B for services. With
Okay.
services, you have to be a little more crafty. You have to have a better strategy to sell
For
a
sure.
service.
Sure,
I mean,
because
as
it's
Denzel mentioned,
intangible.
it's not tangible. Yeah, like
Can't touch it.
it's made up. It's voice. It's somebody's voice. It's somebody's ideas. It's not necessarily this Starbucks cup or that mug or that book I have over there. These books in the back, or that marker. These headphones. It's easier,
Camera.
not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. Like I'm saying, it's easier to sell a tangible, real, technically product like this versus my ideas, my thoughts, my strategies, my service. So I'd say both can work for Facebook, but I'd say products are easier to sell than services. And then, how about for online educational courses? I think Facebook and Instagram are fantastic. I mean, sensational for selling any sort of online course, digital product, educational program.
Yeah, was I not
Because it's so
was I
it's
not
so
just
specific.
giving my testimony earlier about how I spend like an animal for those physical
Yeah.
products on Instagram? It's bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's the thing with the educational side, you can get so specific with exactly who you're targeting, where that's the main power of Facebook. You're reaching a very broad audience in terms of people, but it's still very targeted at the same time. And so I'd say yes to that, but then my only amendment to the question is products are easier to sell. So I'd say they're 1A in terms of ease, then services are 1B on Facebook.
okay, next question from Felix. What are some good ideas for a digital ad business? What do you got for that?
It's a bit ambiguous in terms of good ideas. I mean, I'd say, let's say somebody they're referring to a digital marketing business, maybe similar to even mine. I mean, a good idea is to figure out first who exactly your target audience is. Because especially with a digital marketing company, it's better to be a specialist rather than just, hey, I help anybody and everybody with everything, right?
Yeah.
Websites,
Would
landing
you
pages.
say that
Um,
environment is saturated? So that's why you have to be more of
I
a
mean,
specialist?
I wouldn't say it's so much saturated. I'd say it's saturated with bad actors, people who don't know what they're doing,
Okay.
incompetent people. I'd say it's
Got it.
saturated in that sense. I'd say there's, plenty of opportunity for the people that really want to rise to the top and can deliver that type of service and results. So I wouldn't say it's saturated, but I'm saying more so you have to differentiate yourself. And even for me, I mentioned I can do websites, I can do landing pages, but it's not like I offer everything. Like I have one or two packages, and that's it. And so I'd say to Ibis or Evis, depending on how you say your name, you want to just really understand exactly who you're targeting and what your offer is. Because then the marketing and the sales is going to be easy at that point. Maybe easier, not easy, but you really need to figure out what's your unique value proposition, what makes you different from somebody like me. Is it your experience? Is it credentials? Is it client testimonials, past success? Like what's going to make you different than me? Or is it price? Are you willing to charge less than I am right now to hit a different type of client? So you
Right.
need to figure out what makes you different, number one. Number two, you need to figure out who your niche is, can you help best, and then how can you position your offer strategically to fit their specific needs and budget.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So next question from Mo. How do you follow up with leads at a specific time if you don't have access to your phone due to your work? So maybe she's referring, if I'm understanding the question, if you don't have access to your phone due to your work. So maybe she's,
So maybe she
so
works a 9 to 5, and she's saying, "How do I follow up with leads? I
if
can't
I'm
keep calling
supposed
them."
to respond in an
Yeah,
hour or within 5 hours because I'm
yeah,
a mother of 3 kids. I work 9 to 5. I
hmm
take the kids here. I got to make dinner. I got to do the laundry. I got to.
yeah.
How does someone like that grow?
So I'd say we would want to include a bit more automation into that type of person's schedule, where instead of getting somebody to fill out a form, we would get them to schedule a call, where then it would fit within your schedule
I'm
on times
smarter.
and dates that definitely work for you. But
Yeah.
let's say we go with that other method as well. It's not really about calling them at a specific time or date. If you make the effort, it doesn't take that much time to send a text. Especially like let's say I give you the templates in terms of what to say and when to say it, how to say it. All
Right.
you have to do is take that text, copy and paste it to however many leads you have, 5, 10, 20. It'll take literally 5 minutes. You can go get some alone time in your car, in the restroom, wherever, do it real quick and get back to your family, get back to work. There's always a way. And
Always
so I
away,
think,
for
yeah, I
sure.
think it's really just
Good
about
attitude.
trying to not, and I'm not saying she's negative, I'm just saying
Right. Right.
trying to find somehow in terms of how to make it happen, not necessarily saying, like you said, oh, like I've had clients say, oh, I'm so busy all day, I can't do it. And I'm like, wait, so what you're, and they're full-time business owners. I'm like, wait, so like, what are you doing all day? They're like, oh, I'm posting on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm like, what's the point of posting on Facebook and Instagram all day and making videos when like, that's the point of that. You're getting leads for now already. So you just
That's a
need to
good
follow up with
point.
them. So I
That's a
think
good
it's just
point.
also
Oh, you cut off there, Alex. Alex, I don't hear you. You just cut off. Might have to get you back in here. I'm not sure. Well, Alex was getting into some good information right there, and then he just got cut off. So forgive me, guys, for that. Let me know if there are any other questions you guys have for me. Day says thanks. Yeah, let me know if there's anything that comes in that you guys wanted to talk about. Let me know. Let's see. So Tim says, for both Alex and Denzel, how did you get your first client, and how much time, money, and effort was required? So Tim, I believe this is a client of mine, if I'm thinking of the right Tim. So to answer your question, because Alex isn't here right now. We just lost him. Probably internet connection or whatever. But for me personally, he was getting into, and this is a great question that you're asking, Tim. He was just getting into how the time, like he's putting in X amount of time. That other business owner that he was talking about was putting time into Facebook posting and whatnot instead of following up with his leads, right? So if my strategy, how do I get my first client, right? That's the question. There needs to be a strategy to it. What's the offer and how are you going to approach it? So for you, Tim, I think you have to decide, am I going to go and kind of do it how Denzel did it, where I'm willing to create the content, post the content, schedule the content, like, comment, subscribe. I'm constantly engaging with my viewership. That requires a lot of time, and there is a very low probability of turnover, right? It requires more skill on your end for that. Whereas paid advertising, if I'm going to do that, I need to make sure, again, I've got the strategy, the offer, everything that we went over this evening. I have all those things in place before I start targeting my first client. And Alex just came back on, so I'm going to bring him back in here for a second. So let's see. Can you hear me, Alex? You are muted right now. There we go.
There we go. Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, sorry about that. The screen just went completely black.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what happened. I guess my laptop's just getting a bit on the old side. Like it ages in not even dog years. It ages in like 10 times dog years. I've had this for 3 years, brand new, and now it's like an ancient dinosaur.
No, I get it.
Time to upgrade. And so I just popped in. I believe this is Tim Kubiak.
Yeah.
Him and I have been speaking. Yeah, Tim Kubiak. Yeah, him and I spoke a few times over the past few months. And so the question is, how did you get your first client, and how much time, money, and effort was required? I think you already answered. So for me, I got my first clients, like I said, actually from my church, because again, I had the meal business. It was called Slim Pickens Meals, and I was getting a lot of clients from it. I did catering events at my church, and so that's where they saw, an 18-year-old young man growing his business. And so I had some older business owners that I knew at the church who knew they had to be using digital advertising. They didn't have the know-how to do it. And so that's where I got my first few clients, just through referrals, basically, and word of mouth, but also through execution, like people seeing me growing my healthy meal business through online advertising. And they just said, hey, can you do that for my business? And so that's how, for me, I got my first few clients, was through that word of mouth. But then after that, I tried everything, and really my business started to grow once I had this system set up. And again, it didn't take me $4,000 the month of the first month that I launched. It took me only $400, and I made back $4,500. And that really set me up for the next few months in advertising. Then I spent $800 a month, then $1,200, then $2,000, and then $4,000 a month in advertising. Once I really got the system down pat, I understood all of the nuances to how it works, the sales, the marketing, everything. And so I would say at a certain point, you just have to do it and jump into it, depending on if you want to do it on your own, if you want to, end up working with somebody like me who has that proven system and strategies across the board. So I'd say it's variable in terms of what I would recommend to you. It really is a case by case basis. But that's how, for me, I got my first few clients, but I really started to scale my revenue and income with the system that I have now, that I help my clients with.
Right. Nice. Appreciate that. Thank you for coming back on here.
Definitely, no problem.
So Mo says, what kind of advertisement would you run for a life insurance agent who is just starting out?
I wouldn't necessarily say I have a specific advertisement in mind in terms of what it would say, what it would look like. I'm thinking more so it's simple. Facebook advertisement, send them to the lead form. They fill out their information. You get their information. You give them a call or text or email. And so that's where it sounds simple. And of course, the execution of it That's why people pay me. That's why they work with me. The execution
Right.
is really where the money is made. But that's really it. I mean, I described it earlier in the call, and it's just the same thing now. Facebook advertising, setting up the ad text, the right ad visuals with the right strategy, and you're good to go from there.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Trade in Line says, hey guys, what would be the best way to set yourself apart when doing advertising these days? And I almost feel the pain in that question, just because of like the sheer amount of volume of advertising that is already out there. It can be very intimidating, right? Would you say? And I know for me it was intimidating at first, which is kind of why I went the organic route. And then I was like, all right, let me make some money first. Let me get some proof of concept and hone in on my personal skills, because that's how we maximize on our return on investment in reality. It's really not spending $10,000 more or increasing your ad spend by 10 grand, 20 grand. I think what's more important is focusing on your skills and your process. And then as you're getting a return on investment from that 1,000, then like you said earlier, you reinvest it and you put more into the same environment and you keep going. But how do you and your clients, how do you set yourself apart when it comes to, running advertisements? Because I'm not doing them right now. The only ads that I'm doing are not they're not sales ads.
Yeah. It's brand awareness.
They're warmer. They're warm ads. They're warm conversations. I'm piquing your interest. So that's how I would say I set myself apart, is I'm creating these quick 1-2 minute videos that are giving you a taste of how I operate and how you can learn more. So I pique your interest. For you, how do you set yourself apart?
So I'd say, and first of all, this is Willie, new client of mine.
Nice.
Hey Willie, how's it going? I recognize the Trade in Line name. And so I'd say for me, it's a case by case thing, where some clients, they come in and they have, amazing, tremendous case studies. Really great case studies. And I'm like, that's what's going to set you apart. We'll advertise these. We'll focus on getting video testimonials, and we'll use those in the ads, and it works. Some other people, they have a lot of experience or a lot of Google reviews or a unique process, or they have a unique look that sets them apart in their industry. And so I wouldn't say there's necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution. I say for me, the system in itself, it is unique and proprietary the way I've developed it. But in terms of how I apply it to each client, like Denzel, his strategy is different than what I'm going to do with Willie, what I did with Thomas, the financial advisor, or with Isaiah, the digital marketer. It's all case by case. And so I wouldn't say there's one specific aspect of the system that is going to help set you apart.
Right.
I'd say as long as you have your offer set up correctly, your target audience, and your unique value proposition, which is a bit different from what you're referring to, that's really all you need, even if you have no testimonials, no case studies. And of course, once you get case studies and testimonials, we can focus on those to set you apart. Or, some people, I have a client right now, he's been in a certain industry for 10 years. And so even for me, I have a lot of case studies, but they have a lot more experience technically than I do. And so they could, if they wanted to compete, leverage their years of experience versus my case studies. And then the prospect would just have to pick the prospective client. They would just pick what matters more to them. And so I'd say it's a case by case basis.
Yeah. And to your point on that, just being able to, what your essentially your advertisement, your paid advertisement is like your resume to your, kind of like a boss, your client, that you're trying to sell to. So if I'm gonna put an ad out, I need to put my best foot forward. So like you're saying, video testimonies. I have 25 years of experience. For guys like us that were young, we're writing on case studies. Like you said, you have a lot of case studies. I have a tons of case studies. So I ride that. I'm like, look, like even though I don't have 15 years of experience, got all these case studies.
And in a short amount of time.
In a short amount of time.
Yeah, that's more compelling than years of experience with little testimonials. Because if you
Right.
wanted
It's
to, let's say, compete, you could say, well, I've only been doing this for technically only 3 years,
mhm.
but I've generated all of these, I mean, sensational testimonials. They've been in the industry for 10. I mean, where are their testimonials? And so it almost could be, like you're saying, an even better selling point since we're younger, but we generated such great testimonials in a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah. So either
Mhm.
I'm a really good deceiver because I have all
Mhm.
these case studies, or this guy's getting a lot of results. Versus the
Mhm.
person with 10 years, you could say, all right, yeah, you got a lot of experience,
Mhm.
but how many lives have you actually transformed?
Yeah,
It's kind of
exactly.
like, I remember when I entered into the food and beverage industry, there was people around me that had been working in food and beverage for 5 years, for 3 years, for 7 years, never ranked up. I came in within a year, I'm hitting shift lead. Year
Mhm.
and a half, I'm hitting manager, right? And you've got people that just never rank up. So
Mhm.
either they're content, they're comfortable, and so that's not sort of always going to work. So really,
Mhm.
like you said, it's case by case, but really using the best things that you do have. What have you
Yeah.
done successfully? Okay, yeah, you have
Yeah.
been in the industry for 10 years. Some
Let's build.
people,
We can ride
some
off
people,
that.
that's
Yeah.
all they need. I have
Mhm.
been turned down by clients sometimes where they just ask me, "How old are you?" Right? And I'll be
Yeah.
like, how old do I look? 24, 23, 25. I know the beard
Yeah.
adds a couple years, but that's all right. So,
Yeah.
and then once I told them how old I am, they're like, not interested. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, that's
Off the
fine.
bat. Off the bat.
I
Yeah.
got to rub that off, right? And then keep
Mhm.
moving forward. Eventually, I'll have 10 years of experience and 10,000 cases. So it's like,
And you have
which,
the beard. Imagine my case. I have no beard. I mean, look at that. I got nothing going for me in terms of aging me up. So I've dealt with that many times,
I'm
like you're
sure.
mentioning as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
definitely tough. Definitely tough.
Mhm.
So, any closing remarks? I'm not seeing too many other questions come in. Anything else you'd like to share with us? And how do we work with you? How do I, just get to know you a little bit more,
Mhm.
and things like that.
Absolutely. So really, it's just for me not necessarily trying to pitch what I do because it's fairly self-explanatory in terms of my case studies, what we've gone over tonight. There's a lot of value in what I do. It's not only saving time in terms of you not wasting 6 months or even years trying to figure it out on your own, because I did that. Or I started from scratch working with clients like Denzel, among my other case studies, and got to where I'm at today with how many case studies I have. So you're saving time, you're saving money, like I mentioned, I've had clients who've spent tens of thousands on advertising, didn't get any results. They spent hundreds with me and got amazing results. So you're saving time, you're saving money. But at the same time, I think it's also just a matter of admitting that you need the help. And if you do need the help, then we can at least have a conversation. That's why when Denzel mentioned, like, just get them on the phone, close them, I'm like, I get that idea. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street type of like hard close, but that's not really how I do things. That's why, especially for the way my package is set up, I really like to have a conversation with every single prospective client that approaches me, whether it's through a referral or through my own advertising, just so I can really get a sense of not only their business, their goals, making sure I can actually help them, but also their attitude, their personality, their expectations. And then if it's a good fit, then we can really discuss working together at that point. And so let me actually pull up the link, or if you're interested, if you want to learn more, we can actually set up a call specifically since you came through Denzel free of charge. And so let me actually pull up his specific page while we're here. All right, let me know if you see my page right now.
Yep, we're good.
Yep. And so this is the domain you can go to if you're interested. It's dreamclientacademy.com. You can do slash Denzel dash special 2019. And so again, it's dreamclientacademy.com slash Denzel dash the little line special 2019. I'm not sure we'll have the link somewhere in the description of the video as well. You can also go to actually
Yeah, I got
dreamclients.org
that one.
This one's a little bit easier.
I got the dreamclients.org/Denzel in
Perfect.
the link below, guys.
Great. So if you can go to the link below. Yeah, this one's a bit easier. It's Dream Clients with an S at the end, dreamclients.org/just Denzel. All right, so you can go to this page, and this is where it shows like actual revenue. That's why I don't just like to make claims without any verifiable proof behind them. So if I say, hey, this client made, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, however much, it's because they've actually provided the screenshots of their revenue, and I can actually promote that to my prospective clients. And so if you're interested, you can go to this link. You can scroll down on a mobile device or a desktop device, and basically what it says here: schedule your free strategy call to learn how you can rapidly grow your business and 10x your income. You'll scroll down, see specifically for individuals who are referred by Denzel. You'll select a slot, select a time. You'll answer some questions. You'll click schedule event, and then we'll have a conversation. And like I said, if you're not a good fit, believe me, I'll let you know, because I only want to work with people who I'm truly confident that I can get them amazing results. And so that's why, again, I'm not telling you to just go to some page and buy what I have to offer, because it's not cheap. It's great value, but at the same time, it's definitely worthwhile to have that initial conversation before we even move forward and try to actually have that client relationship at that point. And so that's really all I'd say. If you have a business, we can talk. If you have a business idea or concept, but not necessarily revenue or anything going right now, still book the call. It's free, no risk, no nothing. Like I said, I'm not really somebody that's trying to just get as much money as possible. I charge a fair fee to people that I feel are a good fit, who can actually get results with what I do. So that's why if you're interested, you can go to dreamclients.org/Denzel, schedule a call with the same process we just did, and we can have that one-on-one conversation and really see if you're a good fit.
Nice. Thank you for that. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. Look at all those testimonies. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just want to scroll down as well, because there's more below in terms of other videos, more information, more about me. And so, yeah, you can go to this link, or you can even go to dreamclientacademy.org/results. That's my full case studies page. And then if it's a good fit, I'll let you know. If it's not a good fit, I'll say, hey, maybe in 90 days, maybe in 6 months, we can have another conversation, and then go from there. And so, yeah, no risk. Just feel free to schedule a call, and yeah, we can have that conversation.
Awesome. I appreciate the honesty, transparency. I think we went over a lot of material today. This was pretty good. Liked it a lot. We'll go ahead and close it out here, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and edit this. It'll be stored in the manifesto. This will be available for a few days, and then I'm going to take it off. So if you're here live, you definitely want to capitalize on what Alex is offering today. Even if you're not totally ready, like he said, you can start the building blocks. Say, okay, maybe this is a route I can take, or maybe I'm willing to do what Denzel did, create a bunch of content first, create some revenue, then come back to Alex and do some paid advertising. Whichever route you go, we don't want to push you in any certain direction. We just want to show you the options that exist and what to be aware of, right? There's not too much content about that, what to be aware of and the options, right? So we'll close it out here. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye now.
I remember you saying, hey, I know something's there, like with this policy design, as you were digging into it, really from the consumer side.
I guess you could say there wasn't a big amount of creators on YouTube that were focusing on velocity banking, personal finance, things like that.
Like you said, it doesn't matter who you get the information from, as long as you get the information and you take action. That's all that we ask at the end of the day, so that you can build wealth for your family and your family's family.
Hey, here's a taste. Now, if you're feeling it at all, then go take a deeper dive. Go start doing your research. Start listening and learning about this whole concept